Hey guys, what's going on? inceptionxx here, and welcome to another video today. Today we are doing the attacking tutorial. Now, I always do this for you guys because you guys know I'm very specific with how I, explain every situation that I'm in. So for the long story short version of attacking, always take little small intricate touches to get into the angles for you to take proper passes, touches. On driven passes from the midfield to the attackers, I'm always holding L trigger. If you hold L trigger, your player will always control the ball in the direction that the opposition defender is facing. So if a defender is right next to you and he's right behind you, your player will control it this way. If he's on this side right here, he will control it this way. Most of the times, not all the times. Driven shots are one of the most effective ways to score. And I think that's pretty much it. You guys are going to see a lot of specifics of how do I attack. So I hope you guys enjoy this video today. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with a couple of examples here. We have 3 minutes of examples, so I'm not sure how long the video will be. It'll probably be a pretty decent amount for you guys to kind of have an understanding how I attack with the narrow base formations. So we're going to start off with this clip right here. We have Martial making the pass upwards over here to Willian, and you have all this space over here in the middle. And if you guys watched the defending tutorial that I made yesterday, you guys will notice that I always talk about how in the middle of the pitch, you always need to have someone there. You need to have your defensive mid in that position. This guy pushed him somewhere. It could be this guy that's right next to me right now. I can't really tell because my face cam is kind of blocking me right now. But this guy over here is on Willian. Goretzka has this opening, and we have all the space to work with. So in the very moment, we give the ball off to Goretzka, right? When you do this, you have all this space to work with. This guy's controlling this dude over here. When you get into this area, because the instructions and tactics that I have on my strikers are to press the back line and get in behind, Gabriel Jesus is pressing the back line. Now, in all fairness, this is where players matter again. Gabriel Jesus is not like these meta players like Ronaldo and stuff. He won't always be able to hold up the play, but in the position that he's in right now, he would be able to do it. So we do a driven pass right to him. Now, once we get the driven pass off to him, you notice that we still have all this space down here to work with. We have this huge blob of space to work with. And Willian is making the run on the inside over here. Once you see this little gap right here that he's making, you need to decide whether you want to hold L trigger, because what happens, right, is when you're attacking, especially with a player like Gabriel Jesus, he will control. Every pass that I receive, I'm holding L trigger or L2 on the PlayStation, right? I want to shield the ball. The reason why you want to shield the ball is because this is what happens. If you shield the ball, your player, most of the time, not all the time, because again, the RNG in the game, will control the ball in the direction that the defender is facing. So let's just say, for instance, this defender over here is the one that ends up going on me, right? He will face my player in that direction right there. So if I face in that direction right there, my Gabriel Jesus will control it in that direction. So in this very moment, I have to decide whether I want to risk going downwards and trying to make that Y pass to Willian for him to get through on goal, or I use L trigger and try to control the ball upwards in this direction, take a small touch that way, go for the finesse shot, or do a Y pass to Willian. These are all kind of things that you have to consider in the very moment of you playing, right? So in this situation right here, I end up L triggering, and you could tell, look, you'll see the touch that my player ends up taking, right? He takes the touch in the direction that the defender is facing, because when I'm holding L trigger, that's the direction that he's facing. Once I notice that the defender pushes to me like this, I instantly go downwards and try to make the Y pass to the bottom. You'll notice that Willian is now covered because of Boateng, right? But what ends up happening is I get the ball to Willian, right? Because Goretzka's right there, right? You can notice some things, you have to notice these things right away as you're playing. Willian can no longer make the Y pass. So what I end up doing is I make an A pass to him because Goretzka is already making that run. If you guys watch the instructions tactics video that I made, I always tell you guys that the most important players in your team is your midfield. That's why if you can upgrade players in your squad, try to get Laurent Blanc, Hullet, Patrick Vieira, because this situation right here with Goretzka is what makes the formation and tactics so good. Because I make this pass to William because I notice that my left center mid or my right center mid in Mkhitaryan will start making that run in behind the defense because they're on balanced attacking oriented stats and instructions, right? So I make the pass to Willian. This guy is controlling this guy to go and block Willian, which he does not have to do because he already has a guy there. So he already makes the mistake of pushing this dude to me because he already has someone on me. So now Goretzka uses that space. I do a wide pass to Goretzka, take that extra needed touch in order for me to get the right angle, and then I just do a regular driven shot across the goal. Again, the shooting can be very inconsistent. I'm going to show you guys an example later on in the video of situations where it's not actually your fault. So again, the RNG will sometimes make you miss with players, and this is when if you had better players in your squad, they would have scored these opportunities. And that's very important when it comes down to foot champs. I'll show you guys an example with William later today. So over here, we have another example where we're pushing out to the sides, right? Again, I have the press the back line, getting behind with the striker. So my Gabriel Jesus is doing that exactly. He's pressing the back line on center back, and he's getting in behind. So I notice that I have all this space at the bottom that Gabriel Jesus has right here. So I just do a simple wide pass to him. Now, this is a mechanic that people usually ask me about in terms of what I do. Now, in this very moment, this is why it's good, because on my stream, I actually have the controller on this side right here now. So when I make videos in the future, whether I'm doing like team reviews or whatnot, you guys will see the commands that I'm doing. In this situation right here with Gabriel Jesus, I am holding L trigger, but I'm instantly letting go of L trigger after I touch this ball and make that dribble. Because I'm holding L trigger because I want to face the direction this way. But then I let go of it instantly, depending on my position towards the player. And I let go of L trigger instantly and dribble upwards, right? When you do that, you can actually kind of have this little small acceleration touch on your players in order for you to open up the space for yourself. Because you can see from a mile away that Willian is making an incredible run. If I pass this one defender right here, my Willian will be through on goal. So that's what I end up doing. I'm holding L trigger right here. You can tell because I start slowing down, right? I don't continue running. I start slowing down. But at this very moment, because you could see, right, Gabriel Jesus is facing the direction of the defender. But at that moment that I notice that I have all this space, that's when I let go of all trigger and I do a simple wide pass to Willian. And in this situation right here, I'm already close to the goalkeeper. So you can decide on two different things here. You can chip the goalkeeper and hope that it goes over his arms, or you could chip the goal, you can double tap and your player will rotate his body and shoot with his right foot, or tap it 2 times with his left foot. You can either do a driven finesse shot here, because you can't do a driven shot here, because the goalie will already be way too close. Right here, he's already too close, right? And you can notice that at that very moment that I took the shot, the goalie is kind of starting to dive down towards the ball. So we end up taking a really good decision here, and we just chip the goalkeeper right over his legs and into the back of the net. So you have to, it's really down to the last second decisions that you have to take as you're playing the game, right? So let's see if we can get some more decisions here. This is going to be a perfect example of how players matter in those specific scenarios where, you know, if you had, like in this situation over here, if my Willian, who I use as a cam, was a Del Piero or something, this would go into the back of the net because I do all the right things here. I take that small touch downwards. In this situation right here, you would assume that I score 100%, right? But then sometimes, again, because of the RNG in the game with the players who don't have the high finishing and don't have the high composure, you know, Willian completely fluffs a shot. Not even close to the post, a little bit even farther from the post, right? So you have to be very wary of these types of things. So as you play foot champs and as you grind the game, try to get those players like Alessandro Del Piero to put as your cam, or Ronaldinho, and try to grind towards those guys because they'll actually put those situations away. So that's the only example that I wanted to show. There's a lot of situations like that happen. Sometimes I had a Mkhitaryan situation in my last foot champs where he missed an empty net, and it was incredibly frustrating because then I lost that game off of a counter from that. So you have to be very careful with how you attack with players that don't have at least like the 85 and above finishing and composure, right? In this situation right here with Martial, you can make the extra pass here to Willian because Willian's making the run downwards. But because I have all this extra space with Martial, I just decide to do a finesse shot. Now the finesse shot, he doesn't end up actually taking it with the side of his foot because, again, this depends on how the game interprets your situation. Martial's good with his right foot, so the game just decides it's going to take a Rabona shot. You could have hit this to Willian, right, to have it be a little bit more consistent, because if you do a nice little wide pass to Willian, you could just like touch the ball one time and just double tap the ball right past the goalkeeper, right? But I decided to shoot here with Martial, just a cheeky little finesse shot. Because you're already in the position, right? You have all that opening. The goalie isn't going to get a good dive into the side there if you have all that space. So just do a nice little finesse shot to finish across the goal. Let's see some more situations here. We got one here. So let me just see what the situation unfolds here. Passing play, passing play, passing play. Okay, so this is a good one. So this situation here, this is again the whole situation where I keep telling you guys about how your left center mid and your right center mid they actually do attack. Do not make those players you can make them defensive oriented players, but you're missing a huge aspect of this formation and tactics for you to be able to score certain goals. This is the reason why I use players like Mkhitaryan in this situation. I would love to have Ruud Gullit in this situation because he would be able to attack and defend beautifully, right? But you have to deal with what you have, right? So in this situation, because this formation is very narrow-minded, that's where I revolve my play around because I want my fullbacks to stay back. I don't want them to push forward because I don't want to concede a counterattack where the wingers are or where their fullbacks are not there, right? You could tell that I'm defending or attacking against players like Patrick Vieira, Gullit, and you have to be really specific with the way that you choose your passing plays and your dribbling, right? So in this situation right here with Alaba, I take little small touches, right? You try to fake out the opposition a little bit, right? So you'll notice that I'll take the touch upwards, right? And his Patrick Vieira will think, oh, he wants to pass to Bakayoko. I take a small touch upwards, but then I instantly go back downwards. And guess where his Patrick Vieira goes? His Patrick Vieira goes in the direction of Bakayoko because he thinks I want to pass it to Bakayoko, whereas I'm just making that space so I can attack this part right here. You know for a fact that this guy is using Patrick Vieira as a CDM. So now you have a situation here where you put one of his midfielders out of position. So when that happens, you can make the pass here. Vieira is now on the bottom, one of the most important players. Now you got space to work with in the middle, right? So we try to work around the middle right here. Look at all this space we created here. We have all this blob of space right here. Mkhitaryan makes this run in behind. Now, this is a situation, right, where if you had your fullbacks to always overlap or be on balance, sometimes when your Mkhitaryan is pulling this player close to Mkhitaryan, you would have that fullback making that extra run. So that's the risk that you have to be willing to take if you want to take it. Try to get fullbacks that have decent shooting. You don't want a fullback that attacks and his shooting sucks, so you won't be able to score the situation. So what I end up doing here is, again, I just dribble the ball with Gabriel Jesus. I take the extra touch so that I can get a more consistent pass, right? If I were to take the touch of Gabriel Jesus just facing a 90 direction right in front of him, he's just going to pass the ball. He's going to do a turnaround pass. Try your best to not do turnaround passes. The reason why I say try your best is because of the game mechanics. Sometimes, for me personally, when I play on the Xbox, sometimes it doesn't do these extra small touches. That little small touch I did there with Alaba, where I dribbled upwards and then I dribbled downwards to kind of create that space for me where Patrick Vieira kind of commits to Bakayoko. I do that to create the space, but sometimes the game doesn't do that for you. So you have to be very careful. It does it more in the PlayStation for me personally than it did on the Xbox. So I have to take that into account as you're playing the game. So we take that extra touch and we try to get a little bit more further away from the defender here. We make the pass to Mkhitaryan. Now, there's situations here that you can think about. Once I make the pass here, Gabriel Jesus, I can decide to make the pass back to Gabriel Jesus and do a first-time shot, but then risk trying to attack against Rijkaard. So what I end up doing here that you'll notice, right, is I try to take that extra touch and I want to see if Vidal follows me, which is what he does. This is a mechanic I normally do in certain situations. Sometimes I'll do this on the sides over here with the fullbacks or the wingers, or I'll do it on the bottom side. So just the sides in general, right? So what I end up doing here with Mkhitaryan is I do a double ball roll, small touch, and then driven shot across the goal, right? When I did this ball roll right here, look at Vidal's positioning. He's now behind me. I have all the space down here to work with. So when I get into the position, I make sure I take that small touch upwards and then do a driven shot across the goal. Now, in this situation, again, very inconsistent with players that are not like Ruud Gullit and stuff, because they can completely miss these opportunities, right? Sometimes I'll be at a 90-degree angle and I'll do a driven shot across goal and they'll completely fluff the shot like you guys saw with Willian. But then sometimes I'll be at an angle like this and score them with Mkhitaryan. So I end up taking the shot, end up scoring it. We created that space, we created that goal. It's about exploiting the space that the opposition gives you. Let's see another example here. I think this might be a goal with the midfielder. I could be wrong. Let me see. So we pass the ball to Gabriel, of course. Pass it downwards. take a shot. Okay, got it. I remember this one actually. So here with Goretzka, again, always revolving the play around the middle of the pitch. So once we get this pass off right here with Goretzka to Willian, Patrick Vieira again out of position, right? So when he gets out of position, you have all this space over here to work with. So you can lay the ball off to Goretzka, and now you got space. You do a first-time pass to Gabriel Jesus, right? Now, again, it's very difficult to attack against these types of players. So I make the pass downwards to Willian, and this right here was actually incredible by Willian because I didn't expect him to score this, but it was the only thing that I could have done in the situation because you could tell that Gabriel Jesus was locked off from Rijkaard. You could tell that I have absolutely no options. The only option I had was to go back. So I decided to try to do a nice little cut inside. I have all the space here, so I just decided to go for a regular shot, and then Willian scores an absolute belter into the back of the net. I take that touch with his left foot. I get in the 90-degree angle in order for me to take a proper shot across the goal. If I did a finesse shot in this situation, I think his De Gea would have saved it. So you have to put power on that shot for him to not save it because, you know, De Gea is like one of the overpowered goalkeepers in this game. So again, you have to be careful with the way that you approach each situation. Every situation is different in comparison to the situation that you're in. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But this is a mechanic that people actually don't know about attacking-wise. So there's this overpowered thing when you're attacking from the midfield to the forwards. When you're attacking from the midfield to the forwards, there's actually this thing where it's better to do a driven pass to your strikers when they're in this position. This is a kickoff glitch, so this isn't a good example. Kickoff glitch, by the way, is not a proper way of scoring a goal, but you obviously should score it, right? Because the game is broken. You kind of gotta use what you have in your attacking presence, right? So this is a kickoff glitch, so you can notice all the space in the difference. The thing about the kickoff glitch is that the midfield and defense are all really stupid once it's kickoff. Like you can tell this huge gap in the middle in the first minute. Like it's a little bit ridiculous, right? So, but the only reason why I have this clip is because I want to show you guys the specific mechanic that makes you score certain goals, right? So when I have this ball with Willian, right? This is a situation where under normal circumstances, like when you think about a football simulator, like, okay, I should do a Y pass to Martial because Martial's gonna, Martial's making that run over here, which you can do. He will actually get this ball if you do a nice little Y pass to him. But what I actually tend to do in this situation is I do driven passes. When you're around the midfield over here, when you want to pass the ball off to the striker, or if I'm over here and I want to pass the ball off to the striker, I always do driven passes because sometimes your players, especially if you have like Ronaldo and stuff, they take that really sharp touch on their foot and then you can like instantly turn with them, right? So in this situation here, I do a driven pass with Martial. I hold L trigger. I tell you guys all the time, I hold L trigger. Look at the player he's controlling. My Martial touched the ball in this direction right away because of the direction of the defender. Look at where my back is with Martial and look where the defender is. So he takes that instant touch downwards. I take that extra touch to get that proper angle to score, and then I do a driven finesse shot to score the opportunity. Again, this is all kickoff, so sometimes the players are really stupid during this, but I just wanted to show you guys that example because the driven pass from midfield to forwards is really, really effective in this game. I think this is going to be another middle play. This is with the whole extra touches thing. So again, guys, take this into account. The gameplay in FIFA is really weird. Sometimes it does not let you take these extra touches. A lot of times on Xbox, when I used to play, it didn't take these extra touches. So again, on PlayStation, for some reason, it does it for me more often. But again, the gameplay can be inconsistent on FIFA, on PlayStation FIFA as well. But I want to show you guys this situation right here. So with Willian, I do a first-time pass to Martial. I have Gabriel Jesus here to work with. He has the center back pushing to him. You're going to notice the small little intricate touches that you have to take in order for you to score the opportunity, right? I noticed that Gabriel Jesus is here, so I do a first-time pass to him. Now, in this situation, you can approach it the way you want to approach it. He's still controlling this guy over here, right? So in this situation right here, I could have decided to go downwards, but if I went downwards, in comparison to the distance between the defender and my forward, he could just reach out a foot. This guy's got Rio Ferdinand as a center back. I don't know who this is. It might be Sergio Ramos or Eric Bailly. I can't remember exactly who this guy had. So, I have to be really smart with the way I approach a situation. So what I end up doing is I want to see at the very moment what the defender does when I control this ball. So I control the ball, and I notice that he's in front of me in this position right here. So what I notice is like, okay, I can't shoot across goal. But if I take a little intricate touch upwards, he tackles because he thinks that his player will face the direction of my player to make the tackle. Like I was saying to you guys before, right? When I made this pass, if I ended up dribbling this ball downwards, the reason why he tackled is because he thought I was going to go downwards. He switched to his defender to press B to get the ball, and which he would have gotten if I dribbled downwards. But I just touched the ball to see which direction he's facing. Again, he thinks I'm going to go downwards, so I take a sharp touch, go upwards, create that extra space for myself, and then do a nice little driven shot across goal. So you have to be really quick with the way you think when you're attacking, right? It's always about what the defender is doing. You have to read what the defender does at the very moment. I'm not perfect, guys, and no one is, right? Like, I don't always get the situation down with the defenders, right? Because it's always an in-the-moment situation, right? Over here with Gabriel Jesus, I just do nice little passing plays with the striker. I run downwards because I noticed that Gabriel Jesus is pushing into the back line, and he actually ended up pushing one of his center backs towards me. Never push your center back out of position. In this situation right here, the guy already made a mistake because he should have been using Hullet or even Mane in this situation to defend against me. Pushing this buyout was a mistake on his part because what I end up doing is I go, because here's the thing, you notice these things early, right? When I have the ball here, Martial, I notice that his body is completely out of position in this area right here. So what I end up doing is I push the ball downwards, do a nice little pass here to Willian, getting behind the goal. And in this situation here, like I said, you always want to go across body because, excuse me, near post is really weird. People say to go near post sometimes, but it doesn't really work that well for me. In this situation here, I don't actually do a driven finesse shot. I just do a double tap, right? I do a double tap around the goalkeeper because, again, this is down to the goalkeepers you face too, right? Because if they do the leg save, the goalie will just stick out his foot. So it really depends on the situation again. But when I approached the goalkeeper, I was on my left foot. I just double tapped it to the right side. No driven finesse shot, just a simple double tap. And he ends up committing with the slide tackle towards me. And that's why I wish Farman and De Gea were nerfed, because when you get yourself into a situation like this 1v1, in my personal opinion, if I'm shooting this across goal, I should be scoring it. The goalie should be doing this game mechanic where he slides to try to get the ball, because I deserve to create that space for myself, and I deserve to score that, because there's too much RNG in this game where people score the most random goals. So it's really nice when the game actually rewards you for noticing this opening that you created for yourself. So we do end up doing a double tap in that situation there with Gabriel Jesus. Let's see what else we got here. The typical free kick tactic, boys. This is the one that you guys all know about. This is the free kick tactic I've been using for years. I just use L trigger, RB, put the guys on the free kick. And then if you guys don't know the free kick tactic, you guys should watch the video. It's on my YouTube channel everywhere. I've done it since like FIFA 15, 14, 13. I used to do it back in the day, but I never really created content. And my friends used to go crazy that I even used to use this free kick tactic. So when I did this, you could tell that I have all this space to work with here with Goretzka. So I end up giving the ball off to Goretzka. And what I actually do, what I tend to do nowadays is I actually spam the ball. I spam A to go to the defender. The reason why you want to spam A here is because if you pass the ball too late, your Goretzka is going to be offside, right? You're going to notice here as well. So that's where I end up making the pass, well, a little bit earlier. And in this situation, he's not going to be that offside, but I have all that space to work with, right? So when I get in behind, you know that the tactics and instructions of the players, they're going to get in behind. Look at Martial already making that run. Get in behind, press the back line. So he gets in behind, creates that space for himself. I get really lucky here. RNG, boys. This is the RNG that I'm talking about, especially when you're defending. He defended really well here, and I got completely fortunate that it goes completely through his Valencia, and then we just do a first-time shot into the back of the net. So again, RNG plays a huge part in this game, guys. Situations like that should never happen because his Valencia should 100% be getting that ball. And I just shouldn't be scoring it, right? Again, with all these intricate little touches, trying to take those extra touches to create the space. Again, with Martial, you can decide whether you want to go downwards or upwards. When you guys get yourself into a situation like right here with all this space in the middle, you have so much to work with, right? It's very difficult to defend against this when you've created this much space, because once you pass this ball and you get into that angle, I can either go down or upwards with Martial. Again, in the very moment I notice the center back is downwards from my position, so what I end up doing is I want to go upwards from his position, and I just do a driven shot across the goal as well. Martial is actually a very good player. It's Martial and Eric Bailly that were definitely the best players in this squad for me. Let's see another situation here with Gabriel Jesus making some passing plays. Goretzka. Oh yeah, so this is again the decision making that you want to make when you're attacking. So in this situation here, it's actually interesting. If the guy isn't controlling the player, the first touch that you take, the player usually goes in the opposite direction. So you'll notice here with Goretzka, when I make this pass, his Valencia, I can dribble this upwards, but I'm not really going to get myself into an opportunity if I dribble this upwards. So what I end up doing is I dribble it downwards right away, right? Because if he switches to him, it's very difficult to accelerate at the very moment you switch to a player. So when I cut inside, I have all this space that I can use, and I just do a regular driven finesse shot. Or not driven finesse shot, that was just a regular finesse shot. Again, it's very down to an in the moment type of deal, right? Like when you're in the moment, you have to see how the defender is positioned to see how you want to attack, what type of touch you want to take in the situation. If you guys are wondering, every driven pass that I pass to someone, I'm always holding L trigger. And again, it's with that game mechanic where if you're shielding the ball, the player is facing this direction because of the defender. Whatever the direction, if the defender is over here, your player will face this way. If the defender is over here, your defender will face this way. Most of the times. Not all the time, but most of the times. This is another example with the whole right center mid and left center mid situation where it's really good to have players that can attack and defend. You can notice Mkhitaryan's already making that run on the side. I have all this space to work with, right? Do a passing play to Willian, Gabriel Jesus. Nice little wide pass off to Mkhitaryan. First time shots, guys. First time shot. If you... Again, his bot, his AI could have slide tackled for this because that's like the new thing nowadays, right? His AI could have slide tackled for this. But I do a driven shot right away because I'm not going to have a time to take a touch here. So I have to risk taking the first time shot, which is inconsistent, but it ends up going into the back of the net in this situation. So it ends up working out really well for us. So in the very moment, you got to decide, what do I want to do in the situation that presents itself to me? This is actually a very good one too. Again, this is the decision making. Again, midfield to attackers, driven pass, hold L trigger. The closest defender to me is this guy right here. So he's facing the direction in the direction that the defender is, right? So look, he's in this direction right here. Look at where my Willian is facing. He's facing that direction right there. We lay the ball off to Martial here. He's not controlling the player like the situation with Goretzka. So what I end up doing is I put the ball downwards. When he switches to him, again, like I said, very hard to accelerate in the direction to defend against the player. So what ends up happening here is we create the space again. Nice little driven finesse shot, score the goal with Martial. So I think I have a couple more examples here. I probably have like one or two. We have here one with Goretzka. Okay, so a nice little passing play in the middle here. Willian lays it off. Intricate little touches. See, always intricate little touches, boys. This situation right here, when we lay the ball off to Willian, again, he's not controlling the player. So you can, in the moment, decide which direction you want to go towards. So when I pass the ball off to him, not controlling him right away, he will, but he's not on him right away. So what happens is, nice little touch, quickness on the ball, L trigger, like I said before, L trigger, let go of L trigger, left stick dribble, and then driven shot across the goal in this situation. And this is the 80th minute. These are guys that have sick teams, man. Patrick Vieira, Laurent Blancs, and you know it's very hard to pass these guys, but it's possible, guys. It's very possible to pass these guys. So that's all the clips that I have for the attacking tutorial. Now again, guys, you are going to come up against complicated teams, and as you guys know, if you guys watched the 4-1-2-2 instruction/tactics video, we had a 180k team. These are the teams that you come up against nowadays, right? You're going to come up against very difficult teams, so you have to be very smart again in the way that you attack. So I just wanted to show you guys these teams to show you guys that it's possible to attack against these types of teams, but it is harder, right? This guy's got a bronze player in there, but he obviously switches him out and puts somebody else in to have a 4-1-2-2 or a 4-2-3-1. I think he actually might use a 4-2-3-1. I'm not sure. I didn't check this guy's formation, but again, these are the types of teams that you do end up coming across. You are going to have trouble again facing these types of guys because they're all physical dudes. They're going to be really tough to face in the midfield. I only have 3 examples here, but you guys are going to see the rest of the games that I'm going to be posting for the Foot Champs video tomorrow because I am going to be opening rewards, and hopefully we get Striker Bale. I'm not sure if I will, but I just wanted to show you guys the teams that I do come up against because you guys need to understand that it is going to be more difficult to face these guys, but it is still possible to face these guys and still come up on top and win your game. So just wanted you guys to see this. Again, these are the types of teams that I attack against. Just gotta be smart with the way you play. So again, guys, that's going to do it for the attacking tutorial today. Thank you guys so much for watching the video today. If you guys did enjoy it, please drop a thumbs up on it. And I do want to ask you guys a question. Content on YouTube, I'm trying to grind out the YouTube channel. So you guys need to give me ideas of what type of things that you guys want to see, because I want to start creating good content. I don't want to do this whole stream recap thing on my YouTube channel. I want to start creating good content, growing the YouTube channel, because I'm noticing that when I actually make proper videos, people do tend to enjoy them a lot more than just, you know, putting in stream highlights and stuff. So be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what types of videos you guys want. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.